All right, all right. Is everybody in the house? Can everyone hear me? Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me and everything's good. That would be very important before I start because I'm trying to look over on my other camera and I can't tell. So I want to see something to let me know what's going on. But I'm going to assume everything's working, and I'm going to assume that Hangout number 2 is in full effect.
That is homeboy.
Let me see what we got going on here tonight. Let's see, we got Cemetery Gates in the house. What's good, brother Eric? San Antonio representing with you, man. Well, let me tell you guys about San Antone, Texas. They know how to rock there. It's like one of those towns in Texas where you never have to worry that they're going to change the kind of music they like. It's rock. They love their 80s rock. They throw down in San Antonio. And thank you very much, my friend. What else we got here? Spicoli. Spicoli in the house.
I know that, dude.
I loaded up a bunch of Spicoli drops
Hey,
for
bud.
today.
Let's party.
You like that? All right, let me go back to these comments here. Got Jerome Davis. I met Goofy and Max. Who's Goofy and Max? I don't know. Jerome, it was awesome. Skylar B, I love it there so much. So he's talking to Skylar in the chat. Oh, Disney World. Okay, I see what's going on. Skylar went to Disney World, or somebody went. No, Jerome went, and Skylar's asking about it. I get it. I get it. Let's see here. David, fixing my drink. And we got Skylar. Hello, everyone. TGIF. And Jeff Holton. What's up, everybody from Ocala, Florida? Well, everybody, I'm so stoked you showed up tonight to my party. And yeah, Spicoli knows what he's talking about here. Smash that like button, please. I appreciate it. We got Jay Lee. What's up, Eric? The cost of living. The cost of living is up. I'm sure it is for everybody. Okay, this makes me feel good. Jeff said, yes, sir, loud and clear. Because you know when you're not sure about something and you're like, God, should I give like 100% right now if this thing's not even on? Then I'm going to feel really dumb because when I get it fixed and I come back, it won't be as good as when I was really giving it my all. So happy that everything's working. I'm going to give the official dong gong. Dong gong? Is that a thing?
This guy's been stoned since the third grade.
It's true. Well, maybe not the third grade. I don't know when the first time I got stoned was. Actually, I do. I do know when it was. It was in the 7th grade. What year was it for you guys, that if you've ever smoked it? I mean, there's people I know that have never, ever smoked marijuana or cannabis or what have you. But for me, it was in 7th grade, and it was my good friend from the neighborhood, Ray. And he was probably even a year younger than me. And he had a older brother. And as you with older siblings know, they get into trouble before you do, and they can corrupt their younger siblings. And Ray's older brother, I think, had hooked him up with some, as I recollect, really bad weed. I mean, it's what we call Mexi weed, which is from Mexico, which is the worst. It's like full of seeds and stems, and it's super dry. It's like gets sent over here in bricks. And this was around the time, if you heard me saying that my mom had gone back to school, and I was kind of a latchkey kid for a minute there when I would get home from school. And as I stated before, those kind of kids always seem to find trouble, right? So my house was one of the places to go after school that there'd be no parents there, and I remember the first time we smoked, we did it out of a can, which is probably not a good idea. Smoking aluminum is probably not good for your brain or anything like that. But when you're a kid and you're just looking for something to smoke out of, that's what we did. He crushed up a can. He knew what he was doing, and he poked the holes in it. And I mean, I could still like remember him like putting the can like up to my mouth, like, here, try it, just take a hit. Ugh. And I really didn't know what to expect, but it just I liked it. What can I say? I didn't not like it, obviously, but it just put me in, I'd say, like a dream state, if you will. And it seemed like we were just like laughing in a dream. And I remember at some point I was trying to get Ray like out of my house. I wanted to go like back to the park, so I was making up a story that I had a secret compartment in a tree at the park that had a bunch of awesome food in it and treats, and I thought that would motivate him. And I think it did. He finally like we giggled and we got out of there before my parents got home. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff.
Danger is my business.
Uh, 6 sound bites, bro. Well, I knew you would appreciate it, Jeff Spicoli. David, what's up, man? Is that Stony Jackson? Hey, brother. What's happening, Stony? I'm doing my first solo show tonight. I didn't even think it would be scary, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it is kind of scary. I'm like totally depending on you guys to bounce off of here. Okay, looks like David's saying seventh grade too. So far we got another person who got high first in seventh grade. Stu Petty, eighth grade for you. What did you guys smoke out of when you did it? Was it a joint? Was it a can? Was it a bong? Was it a real pipe? Sin Crazy, what's happening, brother? Working on Sin Crazy's song right now. He just sent me his vocal tracks. I'm getting them all tightened up. Let me see here. Skylar, seventh grade also with your older cousin. Is that all you did with your older cousin, I hope? I mean, it's not illegal if they're like two cousins away. You can do anything with them. Stony, I used to buy an ounce for $20. Mexican. Yep. It was super cheap, but it was not good for you. It just messed your lungs up. They use a lot of pesticides there when they're growing those crops. And I remember sometimes when I'd be smoking it, it would leave like a brown like film around my lips. It's kind of gross. Let me see here. Stu, I'm old enough that High Times centerfolds were brickweed. Wow. They were advertising brickweed at like it was something good. Dang. High Times is pretty dope. I like the cannabis cup. You guys familiar with that? I had a buddy that had a strain, Super Silver Haze, that won the cannabis cup at one point, and this stuff was like legendary some years back. It's not around. We don't have it around anymore, but it was really awesome. Tyrone, seventh grade for me too. It seems like, yeah, seventh, eighth grade is the time to try smoking weed for the first time. My girl, Marsha, hello. I was a good girl. I waited till I was 15. Well, when's that? Like, is that ninth grade or 10th grade or something, Marsha? Okay. Can. So it looks like David was also out of a can. It's a very gross way to smoke. Joint for Stu. Okay. What do we got? Joint. Okay. Jerome. Haha. I remember I drank it once. It was a sip of Four Loco. I thought I was getting drunk and I freaked out. Didn't they ban Four Loco? Didn't people die drinking that? Let me see here. T-Cuz. What's up, T-Cuz? Ninth grade for T-Cuz. Never laughed so much since that time. Even that time with Ray in the backyard, we were laughing so hard it hurt and we were crying and our eyes were just bleeding. We were just like, ah, running all over the backyard. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever been, well, I know I've been really high since then, but that was really high that time. Ted Kaczynski, did they let you out? What's your favorite bands to listen to while smoking? I'll be listening to a lot of High on Fire. Um, Gosh, if I'm home, I'm usually working on my own stuff and I go into my own dimensions. Like, I guess if I'm really high, I might like start writing some kind of music I don't even normally write, but I just go with it and I put it in a folder and I call it like a soundtrack folder where I come up with all my weird stoner ideas. And it's actually turned out to work out well for like video content I'm doing. Like when I need soundtrack stuff and I don't want to get a copyright strike, I reach into my stoner folder and I pull out some stuff there to go through. Um, I was thinking one. What's funny is when I'm in LA, which as you guys might have heard, I was just up at Matt Thorne's MT Studios, and that's what the M and the T stand for, Matt Thorne. If you didn't figure that out, it doesn't stand for mountain. If you thought it was Mount Thorne or something, no, it's Matt Thorne, and he has a wonderful recording studio in Burbank, California. And I'll tell you, I've been coming up to Matt's studio for over 30 years. You could have like grown several humans in that time. The first time I think I went up to Matt's, I believe I was about 22 years old. And at this point, as I told you guys, Stephen was kind of semi producing the band Voodoo that I was in San Diego back in the 90s. And let me see, he basically started using a couple songs of mine and whatnot. And at one point, he was started to do solo recordings. And he said, I want you to come up and record some music. And so I was like 22 years old, and I went up to Matt's. I still had my long hair and everything. And he was, I don't know how long he had his studio at that point. Maybe like 5 years at that point. I'll have to ask him how long he had it then. But it was cool. It was, he was had one foot in the digital world and one foot in the analog world, the early digital stage. And Steven had like a collection of drum beats there that I could write some stuff to. I actually, as I remember, he did have a drummer show up that day, and we together came up with a couple riffs. And I think if you go on the music for like Facebook or Instagram, he actually has a couple of those up there, and it's interesting. One song's called Dizzy. That's the first one. A song called Dizzy. And that's the first song I remember doing, and I was nervous, you know what I mean? I had done some recording with my band in San Diego, but this was like my first time kind of going up to Burbank with a rock star to go, record something. And I was still a kid, and I hadn't really been playing guitar all that long, probably like 6 years or something. So I was a little nervous, and he had like an older, I don't know, the guy must have been in his 30s or something that showed up. I think his name might have been Dog Boy. Does that sound familiar? Anyways, this dude was a pretty cool drummer, and I just came up with this riff. It was like skin. Anyways, and then the main riff is like it was kind of weird, but it kind of rocked in its own way. And Steven was kind of a mess at the time, but he was like, he put some lyrics together. He was like singing about his little daughter that he had at the time, Jewel. She was still a little kid. And he incorporated something about her in the lyrics, and um, talked about his pets that he had at the time. He had a cat named Tigger. He had a dog named Skunk, and he mentions those dogs, those pets in it. So I thought that was cool. Steven's always been a pet guy. He's always had awesome dogs, and he's always had cats. And maybe that's part of why we get along. But Dizzy was the first one. While I was up there that day, I think we even did a couple more. And this was like coming up with the riffs right then and there and recording it. Like I've never worked that fast with somebody. I mean, and sloppy, really. But no, but all the local bands I was in, it seemed like everybody rehearses for like years. And when they have an idea, they want to make sure it's perfect. And they do it like 10 different ways. We're like, Steven's the exact opposite of that. He wants to take the first magic that you get, right? Whatever the first inspiration is, and just track that and keep it. And he feels that you're never going to recapture that exact magic as the first time you put the beat and the riff together and went, that's dope, you know. Nowadays it's a little easier and quicker to experiment with stuff than it was maybe back in the 80s and 90s and before that. But anyways, La Roche was the next song that we that we did, and that La Roche was a joke for like a roach for a joint or what have you. Um, they were kind of cool. There were some other tunes as well, but this was my first experience going up there, and I've done all the records for Steven, the Frontiers records, Smash, View to a Thrill. I mean, I write the stuff here at home, and it gets recorded at Matt's, where it eventually gets onto vinyl and those things. But there's a process, when it comes to writing songs for Steven. He basically lets me know, hey, I'm going to do another release at some point, and I just kind of start putting songs that I think he could sing something over. And some of these songs sit for years, to be honest. Like, I think immediately after View to a Thrill, I was already like stockpiling songs for a next record because originally this was a 3 record deal we had, but this is pre-pandemic. And in 2019, Steven had won the Rat name back, and he was going to make some changes, and he thought the future was going to be totally different than what it turned out to be. But somehow he got out of that third record with Frontiers, went out and did some stuff with Juan, but then the whole world shut down. And it was going to be years till everything got back on track. And as we know, the further we go into the future, the less value music has, the less uh, advances are being, given in that regard. And it's been a bummer, and I really didn't know what was going to happen because we're like 6 years in now, and I have all these songs. And there's been times where he's like, "We're doing it. We're going to do this record." So I took it pretty serious, and I'd say I probably have about 20 songs I wrote for this thing. But we have finally what I consider to be officially began, which means I've actually driven up there, brought my computers, transferred MIDI files, have songs in place. We laid down 6 songs. Some of them are heavy. There's this one song that's going to be like Steven's Judas Priest Painkiller. And then there's some other ones that are just, hard rock and cool, and have that kind of 80s vibe, but it's got my vibe. I mean, it's my riffs and guitar work and stuff, which is I'm appreciative to get a chance to do this again with him, because I know a lot of people will end up listening to it. As far as the session itself, it was just that. It was computers back and forth. I had time to like retrack guitars on one of the songs, because by then, I mean, you figure it's 2 hours for me to drive up there, and then um, getting 6 songs laid out and in place and gridded up and all that took some time. But before I got out of there, we did retrack guitars on one of the songs. So one of them's like ready to go for Steven or the drummer to come in. Basically, what'll happen is they'll have a drummer listen to what I did on the drum tracks and then remove them, or he'll play along with them, and they'll just replace it with a real guy. And I know Steven's looking into getting maybe some named people in there. I know he had Bloss in there for a few songs that he did. I'd love to see Jimmy DeAnda get in on some songs. As you guys are seeing, I mean, besides the Bullet Boys, he's kicking ass with the Piercy D Martini thing. I'm sure you'd all agree. All right, let me take a sip of water here. Oh my God, what's going on? Project Band. What's up, Rockstar? What's up, boss? This is James Davis, my boss of the project. And let me tell you, the songs we're working on are phenomenal. And Dennis Hill is comes up with the coolest lyrics, and I just love his voice for some reason. I mean, it's not. I don't even want to compare him to anything. He's so unique. I would be able to pick Dennis's voice out of anywhere, and that's the highest compliment I think I could give. Jerome, I never smoked. Smoking is bad for you. I love my lungs too much. Well, might have been lied to, but I was told like if you stop smoking, that in 7 years your lungs would totally regenerate. Is that true? Does anyone know? I was hoping it was true. I mean, I used to smoke cigarettes and weed, and that's not good. That is not good at all. But I did finally quit smoking probably 6 years ago, and I recommend that everyone else does too. I actually, to quit smoking, took Chantix. Have you guys ever taken that? Chantix? Anyone? And they took it off the market. It's from Pfizer. I didn't know it was from Pfizer. Uh, actually, who told me about Chantix was one of the original members of a band called Guns and Roses. Have you ever heard of that band? The drummer's name was Stephen Adler. And one night I was up on the Sunset Strip, and I think I was still smoking, obviously, at that time. And he was still smoking too. And there was a bunch of people on the sidewalk in front of the whiskey. And we got into a conversation about smoking and how it's bad. And he said to me, I'm going to take that stuff Chantix. Have you heard of it? And I was like, no. He's like, it's supposed to work good, but it gives you bad dreams. I remember he told me that. And so it was kind of like a product endorsement from Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean? I was like, all right. So when I had a doctor's appointment one time, I ended up getting a prescription for it. And I took it for about 3 months. I did have a very bad dream that I'll always remember when I took Chantix. And this was my bad dream. As you guys know, I have cats. I have a cat named Kylie that's a tortie. You might have seen photos of. Well, I had a nightmare that my cat was trying to kill me, and it was like a Cujo, Stephen King Cujo kind of scenario, and it was really sucky because I had to like kill my own cat with my bare hands. And I love my cat so much. That's the most absurd thing ever. But in my dream, I couldn't stop this dream from unfolding. Like I seriously thought Kylie was going to murder me in my dream. So that was messed up. Now, the cool thing on Chantix was you could actually smoke on it. Like when you started taking it, they were like, "Go ahead and smoke." And then, sure enough, but by a few weeks in, you just don't feel like you really need to have a cigarette like you used to. You know, you're like, "Well, I mean, I usually would smoke a cigarette right now, but I think I could even wait." And then you wait. I was single at that time, and I think I had a date or something, and I decided, you know what, I'm quitting today. Today's going to be the day, so I'm not all stinky when I go out on this date. And that was then. It might even be 7 years now, but the stuff worked. I did quit, but it was ironic that Chantix causes cancer. It has some high dose of some carcinogen in it, and that's the thing, man. You can't, these big pharma companies are the worst. Like they cure one thing and kill you with something else. Uh, it's not good. Um, I think we're just doing this whole show about smoking pot, right, tonight. um, our Dorfler fire. I got high for the first time listening to Rush 2112. Was a joint, and I was 15. You know, all that music is really fun to smoke weed and, whether it's Pink Floyd or any of those bands. Toilet paper, excuse me, toilet paper roll with a hole on top, mesh screen, says PKC. I don't think I've ever been able to make that device. I've heard of it, but never was able to successfully make something like that. Stu's saying nice SSH. I don't know what that means. Spicoli. Spicoli says in a can and a PVC pipe bong with a socket for a bowl.
This guy's been stoned since the third grade.
That's right. Let me see here. Going back to our comments tonight. Okay, let's see here. I noticed Tyrone say, I noticed your Death Row Records hat. Who's your favorite rapper? Maybe Ice Cube. It's funny when I was coming back from Matt's, and as I always do, or if I'm playing the whiskey or anywhere in LA, I cannot help myself. I have to listen to some NWA. That and Rage Against the Machine. Those are like I don't know if people would even think that looking at me, but for some reason Los Angeles and then traveling in the car, I just find myself putting those two bands on and cranking it up and loving it. Like it just suits the vibe and the mood of driving down the 5 freeway from Hollywood or whatever. Just kind of interesting. But yeah, the original NWA was awesome. And then, of course, Dr. Dre, Easy E, Ice Cube, all those guys' careers I followed. That's when I feel like hip hop was awesome and fun. It's never been as good as that again. One interesting thing, which is kind of a win for us rockers, is that I heard allegedly for the first time in history, there's no like rap songs on the Hot 100. So it's finally coming to an end. I used to always argue about that. I used to say, I go, why do these kids think rap is so cool? Rap's like way old. Rap's been around since like maybe even the late 60s, if not the early 70s. So I just thought that it was weird that rock's lame and old and for grandpas, but rap caught a pass. Like I never quite understood that. Bob C, sir, thank you very much. Excited for everything that is ahead for you. Oh man, thank you, Bob. I appreciate all you that are happy for what's ahead for me, because if I have more people that are happy for what's ahead for me than are not happy for what's ahead for me, that's a good thing. I do believe in spiritual attacks. It's weird because when you become like a international person or whatever, you kind of belong to the people at that point, and it has an effect on you. Like when they're all thinking things about you or whatever, if it's bad things, you can almost feel it. It's like a spiritual attack. You feel a tremor in the force. You feel an energy suck coming out. It's kind of interesting and weird. But I can't thank you guys enough that do enjoy what I have to offer, the music, the comedy, the hangout, whatever. I'm in it forever. We're friends forever. And unless I'm playing a show on a Friday night, I'll be right here. And if I am playing a show and I'm on the road, I'll probably still do the hangout from like a hotel room. Why not? Tupac for Skylar. Tupac's great too. Tupac was a legend also. Pac was a legend, one of the greatest. What? I jinxed. I said your thing before I read it. Agree, Tyrone. Skylar agrees. La Roche is a golf tournament I go to every year. Really? Interesting. La Roche golf tournament. The R&R Swami. Hey, brother. Well, hey. Going down the list here. 21 FLHX. People into cats and dogs are usually the best. I'd have to agree with that. And I mean, my family, especially my dad's side, are way like in tune with animals. My grandmother, my dad's mom, had an amazing connection with animals. She lived up in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and I'd watch her like she'd walk out into the yard and deer would just come up and eat out of her hand, and birds, and they treated me that way at first. Like the birds I would just put my hand out with some seed and they would come land on my hand. And but of course as a kid I always felt a need to show off. Like I had a if I found a little animal, I'd have to go show it off to everybody, like whatever. And I remember once the bird like landed on my hand, and I was young. I was probably like 5 or 6, and I like went to like grab it by the feet and bring it into the house. Like, look what I got, a bird! And the thing flipped out, freaked out, and took off. And I'm convinced that it told all the birds in the neighborhood to stay the hell away from me. And as silly as that may sound, I've recently come across some kind of information that birds do have that ability. Believe it or not, like crows specifically. Crows, if you mess with them, they will remember you, and they will let every other crow in range know that you're a dick. So that's actually
You dick!
Yep. And then they fly away. It's nuts. Let's see here. Jerome, is Guns N' Roses with Axl Guns? Yeah, Axl's currently in Guns N' Roses, as far as I know. I mean, you wouldn't know it by listening to him, but it's him. It's Axl Rose, dummy. Tyrone says, let's kind of keep it nice. Let's keep it nice here. Vaping, Cemetery Gates, vaping is at least a 95% safer and healthier alternative to traditional combustible cigarette smoking. Um, Maybe but I'm gonna have to address something here. I've personally known people that have died from vaping tobacco, and it really depends on what this juice is you're vaping, how much you're taking in. You can get popcorn lung if you've heard of that. But this woman, Karen, that I know, um, she passed away, and it was from she smoked that stuff till she got the popcorn lung, and that was it for her. I mean, she probably would have needed a double lung transplant or something. But I've seen this in the papers. I've seen all kinds of kids getting super sick. So it's not like, hey, vape as much as you want. In fact, even for me, like it's convenient for me to take a vape pen, especially for traveling. Like I no longer take flour with me when I'm traveling because the airports have straight up said we don't care about your vape pens. Just make sure you have them on you, that they're on your in your purse or in your backpack or whatever. And I'm like, oh, fine. Uh, so they don't care about that. But my point is, I still try to like do a mix because I feel like if I was to just do the vape, it's hurting my that water vapor in my lungs isn't good. Where I think the regular smoking of the flower, that's like God made that. You know, you're supposed to have a little of that. It's almost like an expectorant of sorts. You know, it helps you kind of cough out some stuff. Now, you could always go too far and smoke too much, and you know your lungs look like the inside of a bong that hasn't been washed in 10 years. But a little bit is okay. It is medicinal, and you know, I've heard about it shrinking tumors and crazy stuff. Okay, moving down the line here. Smoking Damu 1969. Smoking a cigarette, one on end, a fool on the other. One of my father's favorite sayings. He passed away from cancer, of course. Yeah, he was a smoker. Well, yes, and you know uh, my parents, my mom's parents, both pretty much died of lung cancer. My grandmother definitely died of lung cancer. They both had lungs removed. They both had lung cancer. My grandfather, though, that's not what killed him. I mean, he had like 10 or 12 heart attacks in his life. He had the one lung. He looked like Frankenstein, seriously. Like if he and he would totally like cruise around. He was my poppy, right? He would totally cruise around with no shirt on. He was like completely out of shape, and he would just have these hideous scars that like went all down his back and his chest, where he had like quadruple bypasses, and his back had big cuts on it where they took lungs out of him and stuff. But the dude ended up living to 72 years old, and he just passed away in his sleep one night. He didn't take us all down, you know, where we had to watch him die for like weeks and weeks or anything like that. He just slipped away in his sleep, which, hey, you know, I think that is the best way to go, to pass away in your own bed where they're like, hey, Papa didn't wake up. Oh, no. And then, you know, if you're smart, you take care of your burial stuff ahead of time so the kids don't even have to deal with that, and it's all handled and all good. But my grandmother, on the other hand, had similar health scenarios, but she was very afraid to die. She hung on. Oh my goodness. And it was, I loved her so much. I have to say to you guys, my grandparents, I loved so much more than my real parents. You know what I mean? They did nothing but spoil me. They bought me every Star Wars toy in the 1970s. They went to every store looking for every figure I would ask for. Went all over town. When I started playing with GI Joe guys, it got me every GI Joe I asked for, every um, Jeep, every Sky Striker. You name it. They got me everything. They just whatever I asked for, they gave it to me. They loved me so much, and it was brutal when they died. That was in my early 20s when they died, where I think most kids get to be in their 40s before their parents, the grandparents, take off to heaven. But yeah, they both died. Cancer. Um, Let me see. Moving on. Cemetery Gates. We read yours already. I got to get better at this. Sorry, it's only my second day. Do I still get to suck a little bit? Tyrone. He was good. He produced a lot of artists. Now we're jumping all around. We're talking about rappers again. I guess I can't read everybody's. Let me see what's good here. Well, Tyrone does agree the 90s was the best era of hip hop, but the 2000s was awesome too. Yeah, like that first 5 or so years. Same with like the 90s, like the 80s kind of rolled into the 90s a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it was still the 80s till like 1993, right? Um, Eric, any chance of ever writing a book about all your years on the road and such? That would be definitely possible. I mean, I think that's more possible than ever because I could probably have AI help me write it, right? I'll just like kind of say everything I remember, and then AI will make it this awesome book, and then I'll have my younger AI voice read it because by the time I actually do this, I'll be an old man, and it would sound like this. Oh, we went to Texas to play a show with Slaughter and Queensryche. Did you guys watch that today? I dropped a brand new road video. Anyone. Dropped a brand new road video. I have more of these. It's just finding the videos. Everything got messed up. I originally put some of these out on my Facebook subscriber group, but if I'm going to put these on YouTube, I had to make them different. I had to give something different. So I revamped them. I tried to grab some live footage. Surprisingly, nobody at this Colony, Texas place we played filmed it. At least they didn't put it on YouTube. Any of the bands. I couldn't find. The only live stuff was when I had walking around from behind the stage. I did find the Lumberyard had a few YouTube shorts of us playing, of course, Round and Round, the song that gets me hit with copyright strikes the hardest. But I was able to download it, and I did have it put into this Road to video. But iMovie that I used to edit just did not like this clip for some reason. It was like every time I tried to download the finished episode, it would say episode failed. Oh man, I spent probably an extra 2 hours today with that till I finally figured out what it was it didn't like. It didn't like the live Stephen Pearcy Round and Round, and it didn't like the what is it, the Tio Chopo? What's that stuff I was drinking? I'm already forgetting what it's called. But on my Facebook, I had originally done it on a reel, and it made this funny like all these sunglasses were popping up on my head. It was hilarious. You'll have to trust me. But I wanted to put that there instead of the one of me just all tired in my hotel room doing it. But for some reason, iMovie wasn't having it, and I had to remove that and put the original one on there, and it sucked. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and I do have more coming. That's right. What do we have here? Thomas Bailey. Quit smoking that flower crap, Eric. Smoke homegrown bud, only if you have an oral fixation. You know, Thomas, that sounds dirty, sir. I don't know. I still enjoy the ritual of smoking a bong load. I mean, I'm a wake and baker. I'm a regular baker. I wake and bake. I bake cookies after. No, I mean, I'd say like my regular routine. I get up early, probably earlier than you guys would think. I get up at by 6 a.m. The cats are like all over me. They want to get fed and so I go, okay, fine. I get up, I feed them first. No, actually that's not true. First I make coffee and they wait patiently, and they're just standing there like, come on, we're hungry. And I make coffee first. And then I grab a can of real tuna fish from the store. It's the store brand one, the Winco tuna. I open a can of that and they split it. One cat, I drain it of the water, and then one cat eats half of it, and then the other cat eats the other half, and then I clean their bowls, right? Because you guys should be doing that too. I hope if you have pets that you're not like some people I've seen where they're so freaking lazy. They just put more dry food into the bowl and they don't even bother washing it. That's lame. You should be treated that way for your food. But me, I make sure that I wash out their bowls and dry them all nice, like it's a restaurant for cats. And I'm the guy, the proprietor of the cat restaurant. And I'm over there with the towel, uh, cleaning all the water off. And then I put their dry food. They don't get water from the sink. Okay, they get actual natural spring water from the fridge. They get the good shit. Okay, and you know, I think I'm doing a good job. I mean, my cat's 11. Her teeth, I've never taken her to the vet. Her teeth are as white as can be. And I think that is a reflection of what I feed her. She gets the tuna in the morning. At night, I give her chicken breast, boneless chicken breast. Yes, that's correct. But believe me, it's actually less expensive than Fancy Feast to do that. Like I'll even get like a bag of say the frozen chicken you get it at the grocery store, a bag of like a 3 pound bag of frozen chicken. I'll defrost like two of the smaller, whatever the smaller pieces are. I'll grab. As soon as they're defrosted, I throw them in a little crock. I have this mini crock pot for cats. It's not really for cats, but it's what I use for my cats, and it's a little crock pot. Those pieces they sit in there for about an hour 15 minutes, and then they're ready. I take it out, I cut it up. I get a knife and I cut it into little baby bites. I mean shredded it to just basically tiny little chicken. My cat's very picky. Like if the chunk of chicken is bigger than like a millimeter, she'll pick it up and just go. She'll just fling it on the floor. You'll see like the big chunks will be on the floor. She prefers the little chunks, and that's what she lets me know. That's her way of letting me know if she's not satisfied with something. And it's the same way, like if the litter pan's not up to snuff, she'll just take her poo and just throw it right out onto the floor. She's very there's no mystery of what's going on in my cat's head. But yeah, so anyway, back to my morning routines. After feeding the cats, I have the coffee, and then I clean the next item, which is my bong. And the bong, I dump the water and I clean it because that's what's filtering it out. And I think the bong is the healthiest way that you could, you know, smoke. And, I'll smoke probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 bong loads, and then I get to work. For me, it's different. Like I have a purpose. I have things I'm working on that are in the creative world, and I feel like that helps me. But for example, I saw like a kind of TikToky kind of video today. It was on like Instagram's a lot like TikTok now. I don't have TikTok, but Instagram, I'm getting sucked into that sometimes with these videos that come popping along. But this one guy was saying that weed is the worst drug. He says weed is the worst drug out of all of them, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got to hear this. And his reasoning for why he felt weed is the worst drug is because it's so demotivating that he feels like all you want to do is be lazy and eat, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, there is some truth to that. But for me, it accentuates my artistic experience. And, I spend time, there's time where I'm not doing shit, but I'm thinking about shit. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about ideas. I'm thinking about jokes. I do. I think about like little bits I might try on the Chris Aiken show or like funny things I might talk about. I'm almost I'm almost borderline schizophrenic. Like there are voices that are like saying funny shit in my head. They're not voices that are like kill everyone in the house, kill everyone. They're not saying that. They're like tell some weird stories tonight. They'll laugh at you. It's the good schizophrenic. But yeah, I put in a lot of hours into my creative works. Just something like working on a song could be 8 or 10 hours of futzing around in Logic or whatever. Um, prepping a video. I think I started working on editing the video for Colony, Texas that I released today. I started that around 7 o'clock this morning, and I finished around 3 o'clock, I believe, in the afternoon. So that was just straight editing and working on the thing and doing the voiceover, and then having to transfer it, get it uploaded, do all the descriptions, and getting all your, T's crossed and I's dotted with YouTube, making sure there's no copyright strikes. That is kind of cool how YouTube works. Like when you upload a video now, it'll tell you if you're going to have a problem with something in there. And if I do, I'll actually like edit it out beforehand because I would prefer to get the full monetization, of course. So it is YouTube is nice to work with in that capacity. But yeah, all that stuff I do, I just go and get up every hour or two, do like a stretch, tighten up, maybe every 4 hours, go take a snap or something mellow, drink some more coffee. That's what I probably do too much of is the coffee. I know you guys know, some of you know, I did have a heart attack some years back. They told me my heart's really good. I just did recently something that I didn't want to do, which is where they inject the radioactive shit into you. And I was so against that. I haven't done it for like 3 years. Um, but there was some kind of like, not a hole. I forgot. I'm terrible with medical terms, but there was something open in there where I wanted to know how bad it really was because they do echocardiograms and stuff, but they're just kind of like guessing. They don't know for sure unless you get that stuff put into you and they could really do the x-rays. And so a few months ago, I actually went in and had that done. It was funny. I was like sitting in there with like just elderly people. It was like all like, because I have like the state insurance. It was like all like elderly, like Latinos and stuff in there. And anyways, they were all sitting there getting that stuff put into us, into our hand. And, we're just kind of staring off at each other. I had to wait like a week to get the results. But when I went back in, to my surprise, she's like, well, we looked at your stuff and your heart's beating super strong. So we're going to start taking you off of these medications. Like they started taking medications away. So this is a good story. This means, and that things are good for me. And as far as damage, they don't see any. I mean, yes, I have some stents that were put in, but they don't see any damage here to where my heart died in some area of it. There's none of that. So I'm going to be kicking ass for a few more decades at least. And I want you guys to take good care of yourselves so you could kick ass with me. All right, moving on here. Let me see. Oh, I'm missing some stuff here. Let me go back here. What do we got? Thomas Bailey. All the rap crap is the same. Hose, bling bling, making it rain, and popping bottles. Yeah, it's definitely become that. And I'd say as soon as like AI can do something very easily, it's over. You know what I mean? When it's just become so commercialized to do that. And that's another thing. It's really easy for anybody to produce their own crappy music. There is I don't know if I could find it on Reddit. I did join some sub that's like crappy music or something like that, and it's pretty funny. It's mostly people rapping, and one tell that it's going to be one of these shitty homemade rap videos is there'll be a microphone that's just hanging there. This little white chick's gonna come up and just start talking about her pussy and whatever. Anyway, it's funny. Let me see here. Rico. Eric, greetings from Arizona. Do you use a drop pedal live or just tune, play half step down? Thanks. I should look into that pedal because that would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Um, Currently, to answer your question, I'm just bringing one guitar. I'm bringing my Les Paul, and when we do the Ugly Three, I'm just dropping the one string down and maybe just doing a spot check on the other strings to make sure it's in there. And it doesn't take me too long to do that, less than 30 seconds. And I usually always tell Steven, remember, you got to talk it up for the ugly three because I got to either have a guitar change or a tuning change. And same on the way out. I got to change after too. Maybe if I had that pedal, it wouldn't be a big deal. I think when I first checked out those drop pedals back in the day, they weren't there yet. And from what I'm seeing from people, maybe they're there now because I know there's a lot of bands, especially that play metal, that are using those to do these really crazy low tunings, and their strings are actually at a higher tension, which makes sense. So I may look into that. But to answer your question, I'm just the all my guitars are half step down for the show, and then I manually tune the one down. For the last 3 years, I was taking two Charvel guitars, one tuned a half step down, and then one tuned a half step down, but drop D, which would be, C sharp. And that's because those things had the Floyd Roses, and I didn't want to mess with it. Believe it or not, Johnny, you're not going to believe this, but he doesn't even tune his guitar down for those songs. It's hard. The way he does it, you don't notice it because I start it. So he comes in with the band, so you don't notice it, but he's actually hitting the higher D on the the open higher D. And somehow it works. It works with me doing the lower one. If we both did that, it would totally sound like shit. But because I'm doing the regular one and he's doing the other one, it worked. But that was just an interesting little side note. The reason I stopped bringing the two Charvels, besides that it's a total pain in the ass to tune those things for the show and stretch the strings out. It's twice as much with two guitars. Recently, in this year, our travel arrangements were so wonky. We were taking different airlines that we didn't have status on, so I was going to be charged a lot to take the bigger Anki case. You'll hear me talking about the Anki guitar case, which is an awesome guitar case. It holds two guitars, but it's very tall and big, and the airlines try to charge $150 each way to take it. And there was a time when I was like, I would curbside check it and give the guy $5, and I'd tell him it was golf clubs or skis, and he was totally cool with it. But it seems like the airlines are trying to roll a profit more these days, and they're really uh, slamming down on people for that kind of stuff, and they're really trying to charge those extra fees. So I've just now gone old school. I just take my Les Paul one guitar. It comes with me, and I do have a good Gator case that I picked up, where if they do tell me they got to gate check it, it'll survive, but I won't get charged for them doing that. At least I'm not paying for them to put it underneath like I would if I took the bigger guitars. So that's how I'm rolling. This is an interesting story I got from Matt. I don't know if I should tell Matt's stories for him, but whatever. It's just an interesting thing. And the reason why I'm going to tell this story is because it could probably help a lot of other musicians that might be traveling to Mexico in the near future. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you this story that Matt told me when I was up at the studio. And this is regarding the show that Pearcy DiMartini just did down in Mexico. This show was originally supposed to be a solo show. Getting a little dry mouth. Anyways, this was originally supposed to be a solo show, so it was in Cancun, which is a vacation getaway. So what I thought was going to be some money in my pocket and a nice vacay was snatched from underneath me and handed to Warren DiMartini and Carlos Cavasso instead. The injustice that I endure! This travesty! Anyways, I didn't get to go on this gig. These guys went. But check this out. Check out what happened to them. You know that right now we have all the tariff bullshit going on, right? With all the countries. Well, some of them it's a little softer than others. I think with Canada and Mexico, they're not that huge of a tariff. However, if you check like something like those Anki cases or some guitar cases that you've checked that you need to go pick up for baggage claim or something like that, they have these federal like officer people at the airport that are there to basically tax you for what you're picking up and hit you with some tariff, and you're not going to believe like how they what they base it on. They'll basically look at your guitar. They go open the case up. What do you got there? What guitar is that? They go, how much is that guitar worth? Now, what are you going to say, right? You're going to go, oh, it's like a $200 guitar, $150 guitar, right? And they go, yeah, whatever. Hold on a second. And then they basically go online to Guitar Center or whatever and go type in, say you have a Gibson Flying V. They're going to type in Gibson Flying V, go, this guitar's $3,500. And then they're going to expect you to pay your tax to them, your tariff to them based on that, not based on what it's worth on the resale market. Just they're just literally marking it up to retail, right? Insane. The guy I heard that got it the worst was Blando, who I love. Blando is such a cool dude. Phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal singer. One of the first like pros I ever became kind of friends with. Anyways, he's the kind of guy who brings a ton of shit. Like he owns backline companies, I'm pretty sure. But they bring everything. This dude, oh my god. They were like, "Hola Blando. ¿Cómo estás? Have you ever had your shit pushed in?" Because that's what just fucking happened to this guy. They basically just go, they looked at all his stuff, they go, senor, you're going to be paying us $2,000 today. Yeah, $2,000. I would have lost my mind. I would be like, I'm out of here. I would have just grabbed my shit and ran from Cancun all the way back to Oceanside with my shit right out of the airport. Like I mean, maybe not. I mean, I know in some cases our organization will cover such unexpected expenses, especially if it wasn't, warned by the tour manager or something ahead of time. They would probably have to take those. But, if you're bringing, say, your own merch and stuff, I mean, the organization shouldn't be responsible for the tariffs on your merch that they're not getting any of, anyway. So it varied widely. I'm happy to say Matt didn't get hit with this because Matt just does what I do. He just takes the one with him on the plane. So he evaded any of these tariffs. So where are my media assets here? I have to be quicker at that as well. Keep going, Matt.
Yeah, I know that, dude.
Anyways, the guy who could have gotten it really bad but didn't was our resident guitar hero, Warren D. They had to have known who he was because, I mean, he had a couple of guitars and they were his, like, the ones, right? I mean, he doesn't take replicas. Warren doesn't take replicas of his guitars that they sell, those Charvels that you can buy from Guitar Center or whatever. He doesn't have those. He has the original Warren guitars from the videos and stuff from the 80s. That's the ones he takes with him. So they asked him how much it was worth. I mean, in reality, I mean, what would you say the Dagger guitar, or I forgot all the you guys know the names of his guitars. But if I was to guess, I would say those guitars could be worth $50,000 a piece. Am I in the right ballpark? I don't know. I mean, I'm not into collectibles, but they only charged him $600. So the only way that makes sense to me is if they were like, Warren, senor, you get the pass today because we love your playing and we love you here in Mexico. So yeah, that was a little tariff side note. So anybody going to Mexico, you better just bring your guitar on board or, consider the repercussions. Thomas Bailey. Mine was due to pericarditis, which came from the Moderna COVID twin vax. Oh man, I'm really, really sorry to hear that. Well, if you follow me on the Chris Aiken Presents, you'll know that Chris and I risked a lot to try to warn everybody we could about that sort of thing. In fact, I believe is the reason why the channel suffered. To be honest, you'll hear Chris make reference that the Chris Aiken Presents may have been shadow banned, and I believe it has to do with that. Some of the conspiratorial things we were talking about at the time, those corporations were paying big money to these platforms to silence anyone that was saying anything that didn't go with the safe and effective narrative. And I think that cost us a lot because let me tell you, Chris Aiken is such an amazing talent, and it's been such a learning experience to co-host the Chris Aiken Presents. And when I say he's my best friend, that's no lie. That dude's my best friend. I love him so much. And I did ask him to be here tonight, but he party poopered. No, he had something going on. Whatever he said, I wasn't even listening. I was just mad that he wasn't going to be on. I don't know. It was probably a valid excuse. It was just like whatever. I don't even know what it was, but he's not here. So, anyways, um, love the channel. Eric says Tim in the backwoods. Well, I love you guys too, man. I'm stoked you guys are here tonight. Looks like we had actually not a bad turnout. At one point, looked like there were 50 people here. Anyways, moving on. What do we got here? Thomas had a cardio version to get my heart out of VFib and get normal sinus rhythm. Used a whole bottle of propofol on me. Is that the stuff that Michael Jackson used to party with? Maybe. Jerome, Tyrone, your toast is done. Guys. Oh, Christianity. Eric, only drink organic coffee. Coffee is the number one sprayed crop. Is that true? I've been seeing. Well, let me finish her statement here. They use herbicide, fungicide, and insecticides. That's a lot of sides, Christy. Um, yeah, you're probably right, and I think they've been trying to warn that to me on infomercials, but I never actually like proceed. Like as soon as the skip button shows up, I leave. They go, the most dangerous liquid in your house is, and then I'm like, skip, and I never get to what it is, and apparently it's coffee, and I do drink a shitload of it. But man, if they're charging like 15 to 16 bucks for a can of Folgers, like what does a organic can of coffee cost? $60? I don't have that kind of loot right now. If you guys want to I don't know, give me gift certificates for organic coffee places, I'll take them. T-Cuz, bro, tell Pedro at the Aeropuerto, I got your tariff right here, pendejo. Yeah, well, that is a place where sometimes keeping money in your sock could pay off. In the U.S., they get you for, pay. What do you call that when you pay off a cop? But I mean, it's kind of standard procedure in Mexico. Okay, Stony, do you play any acoustic? I'm living in the Poconos currently. That's cool. I have a drop pedal. It's pretty cool. Dude, Stony, did you hear me talking about the Poconos earlier? That's where my grandparents used to live, and I loved going up there. It's so gorgeous. They had a kind of like a chalet kind of place up there, and it was kind of on stilts. But anywhere where it snows a lot, that's the way to go. You want to have your house kind of on some stilts. But um, I used to play in the woods up there. A cool story about the Poconos. This was probably in like 1980. I was about 8 years old, and I was playing in. It was the first time that I heard Back in Black from AC/DC. I was like wandering through the woods, but if you went far enough, there was some like YMCA that was way off. Like you'd get to the end of the woods, and there was like a parking lot, and there was these like 70. They were like it was like that 70s show. There were these kids like sitting in a circle, like with a boombox, and they were smoking weed, and they were listening to Back in Black, and the music just sounded awesome. And I was just kind of sitting there, and I knew I was too young to go over and hang out with them, but I wished I could because they looked like cool people to hang out with. And then not too long after that, my parents actually got the Back in Black album through the whatever that record, KTEL Record of the Month Club or whatever. They would always get the 10 records for a dime. I don't know. Somehow Back in Black ended up at her house. My mom loved Shook Me All Night Long. That was like her jam. And we were a house that played Back in Black. That was like a pivotal record for me back in the day. So, anyways, I got good memories of the Poconos. One extra Poconos story, no extra charge, Stony. There used to be a place right there that my grandma would take me to. It was called the Gay Bull. The Gay Bull. And it was like a little store where they sold little snacks and stuff. And they had Star Wars trading cards. And my grandma would buy me Star Wars trading cards there. Scott Coburn, Just got here, but better late than never. That's right. I was just, that's my mantra, dude. Pretty much. All right. 21 FLHX. Now I finally get why the vids on Matt's always carrying his base around 24/7 to avoid getting dinged dollars by the airline Nazis. Yeah, it's true. The funniest thing about Matt, like they never do this with any of us, and I do have some videos of this. And I'm not sure if the other uh, people have shown this or not. But Matt is the guy they always make take the base out and hold on to it, and like this is in front of like 100 people. You'll see Matt holding his base. I mean, it reminds me of. Are you guys old enough to remember the movie Thank God It's Friday, that had the Commodores in it, and it had the guy from The Fly, Jeff Goldblum was in it. It was like a cocaine disco movie from then, and it had a funny like side story going on where the roadie was this black dude for the Commodores, and he had a van and he had all their equipment in the van, and he kept getting pulled over by the cops, and he kept trying to like prove that he was actually the roadie for the Commodores. So he would like go through and start playing on all the instruments. He had the drums. He was like, he had the bass, boom, guitars. It was hilarious. But anyways, I feel like it's Thank God It's Friday at the airport with Matt, because it's always like he's standing there like proving that he's not a terrorist. I mean, Matt's like probably the most normal looking guy in the band. You know what I mean? And they have him there like he's, a terrorist, basically holding his base in front of everybody, having to take it out. And it seems like they do this the most at small airports. Like the smallest airports, they have nothing freaking better to do. Like they would never pull that shit at like JFK or LAX or something. Like, but they, of course, they're gonna do it in Timbuktu Airport. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, is there a guitar in there? Oh, I'm gonna have to get that out and take a look. See, but yeah, we got funny videos of that. Let me see here. So it's true. It's worth it. That's Chrissy talking about the organic coffee. Thomas Bailey, same stuff. It wasn't affecting me. Finally, after opening a second bottle. Oh, we're back to the heart stuff. Bottle. A guy nurse grabbed my wrist and shot it directly into my vein versus the quick connect. Then I was out. Yeah, same stuff as Michael Jackson, right? Thomas, nice. Thomas is apologizing for hijacking the chat tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's okay, man. Dale, listen, fucking great show, Eric. I picture you having an accent. Do you? Do you have one? But anyways, Matt looks like a thin Terminator. Maybe, but well, I think that's the hair. He has like the hair that Arnold Schwarzenegger, perhaps had. What's Spicoli saying?
I know that, dude.
Relax. All right?
What are you people? On dope?
Those guys are facts.
Who's got the Buku Dolores today?
Who's got it? Who's got it? Anyways,
Daddy's homeboys.
I love this. I had to do all I did that for Spicoli, to be honest. Let me see. What's this one? Who knew Juan Valdez was killing us? Yes, he was. Juan Valdez is dousing all the coffee beans in fentanyl and sending it here to kill us, to keep the population low. Jeez, how much coffee do you guys drink, by the way? Am I the only one who does like a full pot and a half? I mean, that's pretty gnarly, right? But it's like the house pot. Let me see here. What else we got? See, I did. Oh, you know what I need to tell you guys about? I'm going to tell you guys about my court appearance that I had. Now I gotta. Oh, wait. Who's this? Fired up. Hold on, let me get back to my media assets there. Spicoli.
I know that, dude.
Thank you. Somebody had commented out it was one of you guys, and I'm okay with this comment, but they basically said that they can't stand when people beg for money on their shows, and I agree with that. And he said, I hope you're not going to do that. You're going to, tell sob stories and try to, get. No, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, if people are enjoying themselves and they want to throw me a tip, I mean, that was part of the reason. I see that people have successful careers with that, but that's not a prerequisite to come party here at the Erik Ferentinos Unleashed Hangouts. You guys just watching and being a part of it and commenting is awesome. I would rather have you here than anywhere else. And if you share these videos too on social media or whatever, the Road to videos, these live hangouts, the party's just going to get bigger and bigger. But no, I appreciate it. But I mean, if nobody tipped me, I would still have fun just hanging with you guys and pushing these buttons. And,
Wait a minute, there's no birthday party for me here.
My birthday is coming up. I hate birthdays, man. I hate them. I used to love birthdays when I was a little kid, but the older I get, I'm just like, let's just pretend that there isn't.
Hey, bud, let's party.
All right, let me get back here. Looks like we've got some more. Oh no, I'm going to tell you guys about my court date. Right after this super chat, Tim, there was love the channel, Erik. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very, very much. And Marsha, oh, tuna for Kylie and Charlie. Thank you so much, Marsha. Hold on a second. We got to find Marsha's. Does it take me like back up to that? I want to put it on the screen. I will get it up there, Marsha. Yeah, the cats eat tuna, and I mean, so far so good. I mean, tuna. Some of that tuna's got some sodium in it, but I try to squeeze the juice out, and my cat's doing pretty good so far. And I just don't trust all the fancy feast crap. But moving on, the court date. Around Mother's Day thought, wow, we had some time off. I know that Mother's Day used to be a big day at the flower delivery job I had during the shutdowns. And I thought, hey, even though it's been like a year and a half, I should first rewind and tell you what the last day of my flower job was like a year and a half ago. This was like when we had a ton of shows lined up. Like the Stephen Pearcy band had about 60 gigs on the books, and I was set to have a really good year. And I was working for this guy, and it was one of the holidays. I don't know if it was Mother's Day. It might have been Valentine's. I think it was Valentine's Day, actually. Valentine's Day, like 2 years ago. And the guy, just long story short, had given me a real shit route. Like, all the other people he had working, I knew he gave them better routes. But for me, he sent me way the hell out there. This should have been a day that I was making like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I was able to only deliver like 10 deliveries. That's how bad it was. And when I got back, I was so pissed off. I went to talk to him, and he was just kind of ignoring me and walking around. At some point, I don't even remember what transpired, but I just basically turned around, got in my car, and just did a full Dukes of Hazzard. Like, I was just like, and I just like pull out of this, like, it's like 1-800-Flowers, and it's like a Starbucks, and I just peeled out of this fucking place, and then just like pulled onto and when you pull back onto the street, you have to stop like right next to you're like, parallel with the store that you just left, and you're sitting at the light, and I could hear him. He's like, you don't need to set your price. He's like a Middle Eastern guy. He's like, you didn't need to do the. I could hear him, and I just didn't even look over at him, and I just like, just like peeled out of the next street and just left and just never talked to him again. Anyways, like a year and a half goes by, and I'm back off the road, and this is this year. This was Mother's Day this year, and I go, shit, I should apologize to this guy, because I already knew the DeMartini thing was going on. I'm like, I might need to get my own job back. So I called up, and I went and actually they said okay. They put me on the schedule for a day, and I went, and it was a good day, and they gave me what seemed to be a good route. Well, it was a good route till I got about the 3 o'clock in the afternoon point, where I was in a city here called Vista, California. And right around like 3:30, this place just becomes a huge butt plug around Mission Avenue. It's basically just a gridlocked 5 miles of cars all trying to go up whatever it is, North Santa Fe or it's North Mission Avenue, something. It's like it's just totally backed up, and I was so impatient because when you're delivering, you want to get done quick because like the longer it takes, the less you're making, by the hour that you're working. And as I was sitting there, I saw that there was this huge like median that went from one light to like 2 football fields up to the next light. And I go, I could probably get into this median here and probably just zip on right through to that next light. So I get into this little like left lane, and I thought that I would go just dart out of the left lane into the median. Well, I get in there, but there's this guy pulls in right before me, and I go, shit. And he's taken forever to turn. And by the time he makes his turn, so many cars have gone from the lane I was in. I probably could have stayed where I was and I would have gotten to where I needed to be. But finally he goes and I go, let's go. And I dart into that median, and right away, whoop, whoop, this Vista sheriff pulls me over, and he comes up to my car, and he looks exactly like the guy from the Village People. And it's not the cop. Now the cop from the Village People was the cool dude in the band, the black dude. He was cool. No, this guy looked like the leather dude from the Village People. Anyways, he asked me, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And he was like, and I always forget. I always forget to keep my mouth shut, like they tell you. Like, and guys, we should talk about this. Let's remember, when they pull you over, just give him your license, whatever. Just give him your license, but don't say anything. And just let him say what it is. Because they're going to take whatever you just said, even though you think that you're going to be honest with him and he's going to appreciate your honesty. He's not. You just made his job a lot easier, because he's going to take everything that you just said when you walked up to the car. He's probably recording it on his phone, and he's going to walk back to his car when he's writing the ticket, and he's going to just write his report so that way, if for some reason he has to show up to court, he's going to be the first one that goes up to the judge, and he's going to say everything you said first. Yep. That's when they say what you say can and will be used against you in the courts of law. They also mean traffic court of law. So I forgot that. I again thought that I'm such a cool guy that he's going to totally just let me go for being honest with him, of course. But no, I'm just like an entitled idiot, because no, he totally gave me a ticket. And I'm looking, and this ticket is for like basically half the money I made that day. This was like a big day for flowers. It was like a $600 day to deliver flowers on Valentine's Day, and this ticket was going to be like 300 of that. So I was really pissed off. And there was some big operation that was like going on at this time, where cops have some mission, like they have a quota that they have to like give 5,000 tickets out that month or something. So it was funny. I basically was waiting for my court date, which was like pretty far out. But the court date wasn't going to be for like 3 months. But about a month later, the guy gives me a different ticket. Like the first ticket he gave me was for, I think it was, illegal use of a turning lane or something like that, which was pretty legit. That would have been hard to get out of that. But for some reason he changed it. Like a month later, he changed it to attempting to overtake. It was some vehicle code that had attempting to overtake traffic or something, which was kind of true too, but I could probably whatever. But when he changed it, I'm like, oh, I'm so like pleading not guilty, which, let's face it, I always plead not guilty, and you guys should too. I mean, in fact, if we all just pled not guilty all the time, they probably wouldn't even have traffic court, because it would just be so backed up. They wouldn't even be able to they would give so many less tickets if everybody just pled not guilty. But a lot of people they're just too damn honest. I don't know what the percentage of humans that are honest, but it's like at least half of them are just like too honest to try to get out of it. But it's not so much that you got to lie. It's just the fact that you're banking on the one thing that he's not going to show up. That is the only way you're getting out of this, because it's a kangaroo court outside of that. I mean, whatever evidence you show up with, the chances of you actually arguing your case in traffic court is like, I think they said maybe 2% of cases get, dismissed if the guy shows up. I mean, that is such, they're saying 98% of you are going to get this ticket. I mean, they try to give you a chance, like when you're pleading, like they'll go, if you plead guilty, we might lower it for you right now. And like, that's their little thing. But you're going to have to do traffic school. You're going to have to do all this BS. I plead not guilty, and I used to like then postpone it from there, but they've seemingly have changed how that goes. They're making it harder now. Like you actually have to like file a full blown continuance and all that. Well, when I pled not guilty, my court date wasn't until like Mother's Day is when I got that ticket. My court date wasn't until just this Monday. And originally I was supposed to be up in the studio for Pearcy on this Monday. And in fact, Matt had called me. He's like, "Are you coming up in this?" And I'm like, "Well, I think I am." But I looked, I go, "Shit, I have this court date. Can I just come up from there right after?" And Matt said, "No." He goes, "I need you up here early. We got a lot to do. I can't have you coming up at 3. It's just not going to be worth it." So I was like, shit, I couldn't believe it. I haven't been working much for Pearcy, and this finally happened. The record we've been talking about for 6 years, and I got to cancel the first date. I was like, God damn it. So anyways, Matt says, let's go for Tuesday. So I end up going to this court date, and I want to let you guys know what happened at this court date. Hold on. I show up there on time. I walk into the courthouse. I ask the guy what I got to do. He's like, "Look for your name up on the thing." I go up to the thing where the paper of the courtrooms and whose name's on there. And this is where this is kind of like a Truman Show moment, or where I think that the world's fake, because I walk into this thing and my name is the only one on there. It only has one name for this court session on there. And I'm like, how is that even possible? You're trying to tell me I'm the only person that pled not guilty that's coming to court today? Like, how is that even possible? Now, where it even got weirder is I'm sitting there waiting for the court to open, and this guy walks in. Who's the guy? It's my friend Tyler from high school. If you were at this first hangout and you heard me talking about how my childhood was like an 80s movie and how I pulled a Tom Cruise Risky Business and stole my dad's car. And I was with the guy Travis who was saying that we should totally smash it and beat it up. Which it's funny, as I was getting these
I know that, dude.
Getting these Fast Times at Ridgemont High clips together, I realized where Travis was getting that idea to smash the car up. It's from the movie Fast Times, because when they crashed the Camaro, when Sean Penn and the kid crash the kid's older brother, from the football team, and destroys Camaro, that's when.
Wait a minute, there's no birthday party for you.
Oh wait, I'm doing the right note. He goes,
Relax. All right.
"My dad's he was a television repairman. He's got ultimate set of tools. I could fix it, but the thing's totally trashed." So Spicoli goes for the second best thing, which was, let's trash it and make it look like the other football team that we're playing next week did this to it. And then we won't get our asses kicked, but that football team will get their asses kicked. And that's exactly what happened. And pretty awesome stuff. A little side note, speaking of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that movie was based on Claremont High School. Okay. That's where the director went to school, and he based the movie on that. Do you know who also attended? Cameron Crowe directed that movie. Do you know who else went to Claremont High School? Anyone?
What are you people? On dope?
Stephen Pearcy attended Claremont High School, the school that Fast Times at Ridgemont High was modeled after. So that was, yeah, a little side note. So back to the story. Travis, who had that idea, his younger brother Tyler, who I used to tease, I used to go, "Hey Twyla, the ice cream truck, Twyla." I don't know, when you're a teenager and you mess with your friends like little brother. But anyway, Tyler showed up. Tyler walks in, and that's why I'm like, is this? Are we on the Truman Show? Like, I'm sitting here and Tyler's walking in here. And what even makes it weirder is when I first went to court to plead not guilty, I saw his name on the list that day too. And now I'm wondering if Tyler's even a human being. Tyler might be like an NPC. You guys know what that is? A non-player character. Twyla, the ice cream truck Twyla, might be a non-player character in my life. But he showed up, and he did not have his date was actually the preliminary thing where you actually go in and plead guilty or not guilty. The arraignment. He was there for his arraignment. I was there for my actual court date. So they stuck me in. I had to sit there while all these people were just basically going up and pleading guilty, not guilty. Tyler's police officer showed up. I was sitting there talking to him in the lobby, and then this is another thing that made it seem like the world is fake. This really ritzy kind of woman from, and I know where she was from. She told me she was from Rancho Santa Fe, which Rancho Santa Fe is a super swanky, expensive place in North County, San Diego. It's where, like, famous sports people live. It is where the Comet people that killed themselves. Do you remember the people that when the Beelzebub guy or whatever, the Comet, they all wore Nike, they wore Adidas stuff, and they had their Nike shoes, and they all killed themselves in that house. That was also in Rancho Santa Fe. But she, for some reason, was like totally injecting herself into my conversation with Tyler. Like, if I didn't know better, I would think she wanted to go party with me and Tyler, like, after this whole thing was over. But she was, anyways, that was just a little side note. So we get into the courtroom, and it's been a minute since I've been to traffic court. They had this whole TV thing they played, which, because we're in the future now, they had to sit there and tell you how you're not allowed to live stream from the court. You're not allowed to, like, record any of it or do, like, things that I probably totally would have done. I probably would have went in there and just been a total asshole to the judge and recorded it and played it for you guys tonight if I had heard that part. But they will basically hold you in contempt of court for doing so. So moving on, it was a nice lady judge. I go up there and she goes, "Well, your guy's not here, the dude from the Village People, and
Those guys are facts.
anyways, he's not here, and case dismissed." So yes, I have to give myself a round of applause. I am not guilty on all charges. I walked out of there a free man. I walked out of there not having to pay a goddamn thing. I walked out of there with my dignity in check, my insurance premium the same. So that was a little court story for you guys. Looks like we had a lot of comments while I was gone. Oh, I had to put Marsha's super chat on there for her tuna. So thank you, Marsha. All right, let's see here. T-Cuz, Eric peeling out at 1-800-Flowers. That is classic. Dude, shit, man, you should see my car. It's beat to hell. I mean, you could tell that, you could tell.
Danger is my business.
You can just tell by the dents in the car and the smashing in it. The side of my car is actually even kicked in. Like, I don't know if you guys listen to the Chris Aiken Presents, but during the shutdowns, I got attacked by one of those crazy liberal women on the street when I was doing I was doing Postmates. I was out doing Postmates. This is during the shutdowns. And I was doing a Postmates pickup, and I got to this light, and this woman with the full medical mask and scrubs, and she's just coming into the crosswalk of a light. And as I was coming to this light, the light was yellow. It was like turning red. And so I was coming to a stop, but she just walked out into this crosswalk, and I basically had to like kind of stop a little more than I would have liked to. Like if there was nobody at the crosswalk, I would just would have went, you know, right up. But if there's somebody like walking through it, I don't want to like come right up on them. You know what I mean? So I had to like really kind of step on the brakes. I was not to a skidding halt or anything, but I was like, and this crazy woman basically just stood right in front of my car, just kind of, she had the mask on and she just kind of turned like a zombie. It was like a freaking zombie apocalypse movie. That's the only thing I could describe it as. She just turned to me, and I'm, you know me, I'm just always like joking, and I was like, I go, well, I'm like, well, look where you're going. You just walking the street, and anyways, that was the wrong thing to say, to mime to her. That was totally the wrong thing to mime to this woman, because she basically comes right over to my window, and I'm thinking this is just going to be a whatever, normal exchange. I go, I roll the window down, and I go, look, I know it's a crosswalk, but you probably should just not just walk right out, and you should probably turn your head and make sure nobody's coming anyway, you know. And she's got her mask on. She's like, run for the crosswalk, and she's like going off on me, and I'm like, oh my god, well, I didn't hit you, so like get the F out of here already. And she just goes, "Grr!" And she just starts drop kicking my passenger door. She's just basically kicking in my door, and I'm like, what the? I come like I'm trying to open my door, and it's locked, of course, because cars lock when you start driving, right? So I'm like, and I'm trying to, I'm futzing. She's kicking the door, and I'm like, where's the lock? I'm pushing the window instead of the lock button. I push the lock button. I go to get out. My seatbelt's still holding me into place. I'm like, oh my god! I finally get the seatbelt off. I push open the door. She falls on the ground. She has some like a bag of something she had, like of clothes, or there's something she purchased or was returning, or she had one of these like plastic bags that had some garment in it. And thought to myself, you just hit my car, you kicked it a bunch of times, I'm gonna take your shit and I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw your shit as far as I can away, and I'm gonna get in my car, I'm gonna drive away. That's how I imagined what was about to happen, but that's not what happened. What happened was, if you try to throw a plastic bag that's got like one small woman garment in it, you know how far it's gonna go? About 4 feet. I swear, I throw this thing, it went about literally 4 feet and plopped on the ground. And I look over at it, and while I'm looking over at it, what does she do? She runs into my car and starts trying to get into it. She's got the door open and she's into my car, and I'm like grabbing her, trying to like pull her off. Now it's becoming like a whole thing. And like, I was raised that you don't, hit a woman or hurt a woman. And just for reference, she was like a white woman. She was probably looked about in her mid 30s. She was small frame, I would say petite even, you know what I mean? So maybe if she was twice my size, I might have had a case or something. But like, obviously I'm trying to avoid hurting her in any way, but trying to get her away from this maniac, away from my car. At some point I get her over there, and I kind of throw her, toss her to the side. She kind of falls on the ground, and she starts screaming like a maniac. She's like, I'm hurting her. She's like, somebody help me, God! I'm like, oh my god, I got to get the F out of here. So I get in my car. Now the window is still down from the earlier exchange, and also from when I was trying to unlock my car and I pushed the wrong button. So now the window's like really down. And so I'm thinking, okay, she's over there. She's just screaming like an idiot for help. And I'm just going to take off now and to do my stupid Postmates delivery. Well, speaking of the Terminator, you know what she does? She gets up and dives head first into the passenger side of my window. I am not lying. She jumps head first into my window. And at this point, I'm just like, she's holding on to the steering wheel. I go, let go of my car. I'm just calmly telling her, I'm just like, let go of my car. Now, some, guy who's not as patient as me probably would have started popping her in the face, probably, you know what I mean? But that wasn't, if it was a guy, oh, hell yeah, it would have been on. But no, this is a woman, and I'm just like, she's got her medical mask, and now her face and her medical mask is like in the car. These were bad times we were in, guys. This is like, probably the beginning of 2021 or something like that. I mean, we're still all shut down. It was really weird, bad times there. I still have PTSD from the whole thing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys too. So this story, as crazy as it sounds, it did actually happen, and I hope you're on my side. But anyways, I I just in my mind I go, there is only one solution to this, and that is to do what T Cuz knows is what I do, is peel the fuck out, get out of there, right? So I go, let go of my car, let go of my car. I'm gonna hit the gas. You're coming with me if you don't let go. And I gave her like all these extra chances, you know what I mean? She's like holding on. Finally, I just go, just go. She just went and just went tumbling out in the street, and I take off. And it was funny because I had just started dating Susan like that month. And I'm on the freeway, and I'm just like, my adrenaline's going, and I'm just like, I can't believe this fucking happened. And where am I going to go deliver this stupid sandwich to somebody? Anyways, I call Susan up, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened. I go, I'm definitely probably going to jail. What's your phone number? Let me write it down. So I had a pen. I was like writing Susan's phone number down on my arm because I just figured the police are going to get me at any time. I almost made it back to my old apartment. I had gotten off the freeway, and the phone rang, and it rings in my car, and I can answer it through the stereo. And I go, oh no, it was like a 760 number. And I pick it up. I go, hello. He goes, hey, Eric, this is Dave over with the Encinitas Sheriff's Department. Can you come back to where this woman attacked you? And now, when he said this woman attacked you, I knew that that was what I wanted to hear. I was, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I had to get away from there, but I will of course come right back to the scene. And so that's what I did. I ended up turning around. In my head, I was perceptive enough to know by his language that I was probably okay. Just the fact that he described her as attacking me, I go, this is looking good. Because that's the truth. You know what I mean? I was just kind of defending my car, if anything. But I get back there, and they have her in the police car. So luckily, I guess at this red light I was at, when other cars had gotten behind me, must have been at that point where she's jumping through the window or like whatever. It looked bad for her, luckily. So I had a choice at that time. I could have pressed charges probably against her, but I'm old school. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hey, if you're good, I'm good. This is embarrassing. Like, and honestly, I was thinking she might try to sue me like later in civil court for something. Like, I'm better off just keeping the dent in my car and just letting her crazy ass go and not even taking this any further. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I did. But I was just thinking, T Cuz was complimenting my driving skills, and if you looked at my car, you'd know my life.
Danger is my business.
That's right. Loving you's a dirty job. No, that's not even the same. What am I talking about? Anyways, let me find some more stuff here. Spicoli, rat and roll. Thomas Bailey, I had a 76 and a 55 reduced to a 69. Wow, they were just super nice to you that day. You should have pled not guilty, and the guy might not have shown up. And then, if he did, you could have maybe argued it and had the same outcome, right? I mean, but man, if you guys could have seen how happy I was when this dude didn't show up. I mean, I've been braced. This court date has caused me stress for what, 7 months now? Something like that. It's been in the back of my mind going, man, my insurance, I'm going to have to go with this. I'm going to have to cough up this money. I'm not like really working that much right now. Let's see, we got Spicoli's back.
I know that, dude.
Yeah, you do. Come on. Been in this band for 25 years. I'm like a mad old person that just keeps, I've been in a band 25 years. Yeah, shut up. Nobody cares.
Relax. All right?
Let me go back to these comments here. The case has been resolved on the People's Court. It's funny. I love those shows. If you live in California, you can actually go on shows like Judge Judy pretty easily. And if you were wronged in some way, it doesn't hurt to go tell a person, hey, let's go on Judge Judy, because if they find that other person guilty, I think Judge Judy's people pays the fine or whatever to the people. So it's kind of fun. It's like it's kind of a way you can get justice for yourself and both get paid. The person who wronged you and you both get to be on TV. I went to Claremont High for summer school in 1985. You did? Really? Get out of here. Spicoli, is that true? I know Jeff Spicoli went, but did you? Okay. Got Jerome Davis. Good night. I'm going to go do my skincare routine and go to bed. All right, Jerome. Well, black don't crack. What is your routine? All right, so everybody wants to know Jerome's skincare routine. Tom got attacked by a Karen. La 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 la. Yes, I did. I got attacked by a Karen, and it wasn't the first time. I mean, it wasn't the last time. It was the first time. I was also attacked by an old lady Karen the same year at an ATM machine, and that happened. San Diego County Credit Union has walk-up ATM machines, and they're like right next to each other. They're not right next, pretty much right next to each other. And there was a woman at the time, and she had her mask on, whatever. And she's at the ATM, and I had some money. I would need to make a deposit, and so I just walked right up next to her, and I started making my deposit. She's like 2 feet over here. I didn't even think about it, and she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm here." Like, she expected only one person at a time to go up to these things to cut. That was back when everybody was doing the 6 feet bullshit. And she goes, "What are you doing? You're not even wearing a mask." And I go, yeah, well, I'm not sick." And she goes, "Well, how do you know? How do you know you're not sick?" Cause I'm not. I'm just like kind of ignoring her, just kind of going through my routine of putting the money in or whatever. And then she just starts losing it on me and starts just taking her hand and pushing me in the face. She's like, "You son of a bitch, you back. And she's like basically punching me in the face with her finger. And I was just like, holy shit, really? And then she just like storms off to her car to go, and she's like in her car screaming to herself like a crazy person in her car. And there was this woman like behind me, and she goes, "Oh my God." She's like, "I am so sorry, but that was funny." And yeah, so anyways, moving on. Let me see. Yeah, they Thomas Bailey, they live. It's true. Tyrone, we had a Karen start beef with us in line for It's a Small World at Disney. Wow, that sucks. I remember my dad kind of beat some kids' asses at Disney land once when we went. I haven't seen my dad really rough up too many people. They were kids, you know what I mean? But I think we were in line for like Space Mountain. And when you're in line, it's like kind of dark in there and they just have like a couple little space lights on or something. Well, these kids like in front, looking back, they were probably like 15 years old or something. And they were like pushing each other around. And so they were like kind of smashing into some families and stuff. And I was starting to get a little uncomfortable myself, at the situation. I was probably only like, 9 years old or something. And I saw at one point that I know what my dad was thinking. He's like, "That kid is about to come near me. I'm going to fuck him up." And so the 15-year-old, went towards my dad. He just, whoa! He just pushed like all 6 kids onto the Space Mountain roller coaster track, and they were killed. No, that would have been cool though. Let me see. She was a Crackler Harris voter. Them bitches are nuts. Yeah, I mean, I just to in all transparency, I'm not a political guy, but when you turn 18 and you're getting your driver's license and they make you like pick something, you know what I mean? I knew my parents were Republicans, and you don't want to be like your parents. You want to do the opposite of them when you're 18 years old. So I go, whatever they are, I'm the other thing. I'm the hippy dippy, liberal, right, or whatever. And so I go. I don't know exactly what a Democrat is, but I like the idea of a democracy. It has the word in it, so that's what I'm picking. And I never really bothered with it. I think I voted the first couple times. I had stupid things I vote that would make me vote, like Like for Bill Clinton, the fact that he played the saxophone, I thought he was a musician. I was like just some stone, like, whatever, 20-year-old. I was just like, yeah, he's a musician. It's awesome. I'm cool for Clinton. Um, Let me see. When the last time I voted was right after 9/11. Like it was George Bush, and then it was the climate change guy that I always forget. It was if you watch South Park, the Man Bear Pig episode was making fun of him, but he was like the huge climate change, and I was like, that's one thing that I never bought into was the climate change thing, and I was like, oh, we can't have this guy coming in with this climate change bullshit. And since 9/11 had just happened, I was like, oh, we need a cowboy in there. We need somebody who's going to kick some ass because we're not safe. But then, like, shortly after I voted is when I was totally awakened to the whole 9/11 thing and, like, Dick Cheney and George Bush and all that. And I was just so fucking embarrassed that I voted for this guy, that he was involved in some capacity, that this administration was involved in this, that I never voted again. Never voted again. So those of you that assume that I'm some Trump guy or I'm a liberal, whatever, you're wrong. I never voted for anyone again after that. I was like, I'm done. It's a joke. This whole thing's a joke, and I never voted again. But for the longest time, I was a registered Democrat, if you can believe that. So, anyways, moving on. Karen suck, says Skylar. Agreed. Tyrone says Karen accused us of spraying sunblock in her eyes. Well, did you? I mean, that's pretty specific. I mean, what were you spraying? Okay, Thomas. She was off her meds, it sounds like. We have a lot of nutty people here. It's I mean, Los Angeles is way worse. Way worse. I mean, Los Angeles, it's just like you pull up to there and you will literally see men and women pulling down their pants and taking a shit right there on the sidewalk. They shit in your carports. They're just everywhere. Like, we have homeless people here. I mean, especially by the beach. I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, if for some reason I become homeless and I have to leave this wonderful condo that I share with Susan, oh man, I'm gonna fucking go live out there too. I'm just gonna go, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna put my stuff in storage and I'm just gonna move 100 feet over into the sand with the sleeping bag because these guys are doing it. I see them all the time. There's crazy people. I feel like I'm even like close. I mentioned earlier that I kind of have that good schizophrenic thing when the schizo guy tells me jokes, whispers jokes that I should tell later. Um, but I see how it starts. Like you see these homeless people on the streets, and they're always like angry at somebody, right? They're always like, "God, Jack told me, God, prick." They're just like, but I find myself doing that these days. Like, the more the people wrong me, the more I'm like pacing around my house, arguing with them and like saying things like if I was, and like that's how it starts, right? That's how you become the crazy homeless person. Like, I'm close, guys. Um, Anyways, Tyrone, it was a small world boat, and we were seated next to her. Well, it is a small world when you're seated next to them on the small world boat. Thomas Bailey, I stay away from people not really agoraphobic, but pretend I am. I'd be more than happy never to leave my house, especially because it's right on the beach. I just walk out on the patio, and it's still like the safe zone, but it's like I'm at the beach, but I'm just looking down on all the peasants. John Evans, damn, Eric, you're cracking me up. You got to be too much funny, Tony. Oh, Tom, agreed, Thomas. Sometimes that's all they understand. Words mean nothing to them. Got to get your point across, but again, bail money, ready, go. I have no idea what Tom's talking about there. I should be more selective with my comments I'm reading here. This looks like a lot of effort was put in. Tom, I don't really hit women, only twice in my life, and it was self-defense. Like a bee buzzes your face and you swat. I think you meant to say swat it, right? But sweat it, whatever. Yeah, it's hard for me, man. There's a time that comes to mind when I was in grade school, and this one bigger chick totally threw down on me out of nowhere, and it's a weird situation to be in. We were playing like handball on the hand court. This is when I lived up in LA for a minute, and she had missed hitting the ball and hit me, and I kind of, I'm goofy guy, played off like slapstick. I'm all, oh, and she's all, ha. And then something just triggered in her, and she started like throwing blows at my face and punching me. And next thing you know, she was like super angry. Like, I don't know if she was a beaten kid or, I mean, looking back, she must have been some abused chick and something happened. But that was like one of the first times that a woman outside of my mom was like beating the shit out of me. And it's like, it's tough to take, like, because it's like I'm a Terminator robot programmed not to hit chicks, so it's like, shit, I never know what to do in those situations. Eric, I'll give you $25 for your jacket. That's funny. I don't even think I paid that much for this, Devin. This believe it or not, is not real alligator crocodile skin or whatever. It's actually some kind of cheap. I think I got this at Macy's for like a closeout or some shit. Matt's got this jacket. Matt's got this jacket too. Anyways, can Pearcy really rip a bong? Oh man, watching Pearcy smoke weed is like watching a cartoon guy smoke weed, because it's like, cartoons when people like put something hot in their mouth and the smoke like comes out of their ears. It's all like he'll take the biggest ass hit you've ever seen, and then he'll clear his mouth, and then he'll pinch his nose, and I swear I see smoke coming out of his ears. I'm like, that dude will try to like get the most high you could possibly get. Like, I kind of take it easy. I pack really small bong hits. I like to be able to clear it, and I don't have a huge lung capacity. I little baby, like boogers almost, baby boogers, and I'll clear it, do a couple of those. I'm pretty mellow like that. What do we got here? What do we got? Moving on. You didn't notice I became a channel member, Stoner. Well, let me get over to my assets. Thank you so much,
Hey,
Spicoli.
bud. Let's party.
This guy's been stoned since the third grade.
That's right. What do we got here? He's Spicoli's back. He's saying it's true. I did go to Claremont High School for summer school. I grew up in Tierra de Santa, Murphy Canyon. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, Tom knows what's up. Climate change is all BS. It really is. And when you live long enough to see these idiots' predictions, you know what I mean? Like, that says it all. Like the latest one was the Greta young lady who was saying we'd all be dead, by 2023. And you say stupid stuff like that, your whole cause is just pretty much lost at that point. There was Susan had a friend here at the harbor that I just did not get along with, and he had a boat down here, and him and I have had words before. He would get drunk and say some stupid shit. He thought that I was a Trump person, and I'm not. But one night, it was actually on my birthday, and we had this like really mellow birthday here. We had dinner, and he was the only person around walking distance that were like, "Hey, you want to come by? We're making some food." He came over and he got drunk, and he was like a total dick to me during my birthday dinner. He just got drunk. He's like, I bet you had one of those red hats.
You dick.
No, I don't have one of those reds. This guy was a total. He was banned from my house after this. But where I'm going with this, he basically goes, "You believe in climate change?" He's like, "Oh, have you know? I've seen the new layout for the Coast Highway, and they're moving it. They're moving it because the ocean's rising, and it's coming, and it's gonna be where the Coast Highway is." And I'm like, "You're such a fucking moron, dude." I mean, I've been living in San Diego for like over 40 years, and the water is in the same place it's been the entire 40 years. I mean, you can literally see where it goes. It's in the same spot. I mean, sometimes it might go down a little, like whatever, depending, you have the tides and shit, but I mean, it's, look, at certain points in the year with the moon phases, the tides, sometimes the ocean will break a little closer. They'll like move the lifeguard tower back, and that's just something they do. And then they move it forward again. It's not like I mean, I've lived here for 5 years, man. Nothing has changed. So it's insanity. Anyways, Jerome, I was just trying to get a good photo of my Frappuccino. All right. What's my coolest beach glass? Well, the thing is, my favorite beach glass is this one. It's just, I like it because of the color, and it looks like a gumdrop or something, right? Like a piece of candy. But this piece has probably, been in the ocean, I would imagine, a really long ass time. I don't know exactly. I'm not a sea glassologist, but I would imagine, I don't know, 50, 100 years or something. Um, I have other cool ones. With my green screen, they don't always like show up. You know who has some of my best ones? I had given to Pete Evick of the Bret Michaels Band, because he and I have teamed up before. He has a candle company, and I've sent him, I've mailed him sea glass to make the candles, and he puts it in there, and it was pretty fun. It was actually pretty cool. It was right when I started my Sea Glass Hunters channel, and I thought it was going to help the channel blow up, but I really didn't know what I was doing with YouTube yet, and that channel only has like 130 subscribers. So if any of you guys want to throw a bone to Sea Glass Hunters, I am going to put more of those episodes out. Go subscribe over there. We'll see if we can get that channel monetized. I'll start doing live streams from the beach. I'll like get up on the lifeguard tower and transmit from there. I don't know. Um, yeah. Give Jason Green a slap for me. Well,
Those guys are fags!
that's for them. Let me see. Spicoli, puff puff pass. Nice. Tom, people can't think for themselves these days. They believe the bullshit they feed all of us. Yep, that's true. It's true. They do. There's like just a huge cognitive dissonance out there, but I think it's fear. I mean, people are scared to really face these things that we're saying. They don't want to hear it, and I understand. There's things that I don't want to hear either. It's like, especially if there's nothing they could do about it, that's a helpless feeling, so they'd rather not hear about it all. And that's totally fine, but don't push the agenda of these maniacs, you know what I mean? Don't start, you know, telling us how to live our lives, and vote to take our freedoms away. And probably the most important thing, let's hold on to that stinky, dirty cash, y'all. I mean, I don't want to go full digital that way. I have slipped into this digital world just like everybody else, and it is way more convenient to whip a card out, but I like my cash. I like that dirt. I like the way it smells. It smells like murder and cocaine. I don't know. I like it. It has that kind of smell to it. But anyway, how are we doing here? I think we've hit the 2 hour mark, guys. This was an epic second hang tonight. Um, I hope you all had fun. I hope this is our usual gang from here out, and every Friday we're here to have like a smoke out, hang out, trip out, shit talk party. I don't know, gossip, talk about our week. I'll tell you guys about my crazy life, and you could weigh in and tell me about yours. I thank you for all the super chats. Before I go, I have to give a big shout out to Pariah Pickups. I want to make a real cool announcement tonight. I got hit up by Pariah Pickups today. They asked me to be a Pariah artist. So once again, I'm going to head over to I currently have these pickups. One is in my Les Paul. The Rip and Grind is in my Les Paul, and then they have a Rancor head, and that one's in my Gibson SG, and they're both currently in my two Gibsons. These pickups are amazing. I went to the project rehearsal the other day, and Dennis Hill, I let him play my SG, hit a note, the thing just sustained for days. He was like, I got to get their number. So today, for him to, add me to their artist roster was super sweet. So thank you to Sean at Pariah Pickups. Anybody, check out their website, pariahpickups.com. They do pickups for everything: death metal, rock, classic rock, you name it. They got your pickup. Talk to Sean at pariahpickups.com. And that's going to be it for tonight, guys. I will see you on the Chris Aiken Presents show on Tuesday. Be cool and be kind to each other.